The storm had passed, but the streets still whispered its anger. Water dripped from rusted gutters. Plastic bags floated like ghosts in puddles. Luna, a stray cat with thin fur and glowing golden eyes, stepped carefully between broken glass and muddy concrete. Her ribs showed. Her tail twitched with each sound. She wasn't looking for food. Not this time. There was a sound. A cry. But not the usual kind. Not another alley cat or a trash can rattle. This sound was strange, weak, fragile. Like something dying. Luna froze. Her ears tilted forward. The cry came again, soft, almost swallowed by the wet ground. She turned fast and darted between a gap in a wooden fence. She ran past a flipped-over shopping cart, a pile of soaked newspapers, and then stopped. There, in the middle of a shallow dip in the muddy earth, was something moving. A bundle. Covered. In leaves. Soaked in mud. Shaking. Luna crept closer, her paws sinking in the wet. And then she saw it. Skin. Bare. Pale. Tiny fingers twitching. A face scrunched in red, smeared with dirt. It was a human baby. No blanket. No bottle. No warmth. Just mud and cold, and that awful, broken cry. Luna blinked. She had seen many strange things on these streets. But this was different. She leaned in, sniffed the baby's face. It smelled wrong. Weak. Like it didn't have much time. The baby whimpered. Luna jumped back. But she didn't run. She sat, watching, listening. Then she did something strange. Something wild. She meowed. Softly at first. Then louder. And louder. She circled the baby, crying out like she was calling someone. Anyone. But no one came. She tried nudging the baby. Tried pawing at the wet earth. Maybe thinking she could dig him out. Move him. Do something. But he was too heavy. And she was too small. Still, she didn't leave. Minutes passed. Then an hour. The rain had stopped, but the cold stayed. Luna curled herself beside the baby, pressed her body against his side. She was shaking, but she knew he was colder. From the alley above, a door slammed. A kid's voice yelled out, "Stupid rain. My shoes are soaked." Luna's head shot up, her eyes wide. She ran toward the sound, meowing loud and fast. She darted into the open, her fur soaked and tail high. The boy, Mateo, maybe 12, was dragging a trash bag toward a bin. He stopped when he saw her. "What the... cat?" he said. "What do you want?" Luna didn't stop. She ran back toward the fence, then turned to look at him. Meowed again. He stepped forward. "You want me to follow you?" She ran a few feet, looked back. Okay. I'm coming," Mateo muttered. Stepping through the broken fence, she led him to the baby. Mateo's feet sank in the mud. When he saw the tiny body, his mouth dropped open. "Oh my God," he whispered. "Is that a baby?" He dropped to his knees. The baby's chest was barely moving. "Mom!" he screamed. "Mom! Call someone!" He pulled off his jacket and wrapped it around the baby. "It's okay, little guy. Hold on. Please hold on." Behind him, Luna sat still, watching. She didn't purr. She didn't move. She just watched. Because somehow, she knew this wasn't the end. This was only the beginning. Mateo's hands were shaking. He wrapped the baby tighter in his jacket, trying to warm him. The baby's skin was cold. Too cold. His tiny chest moved, but just barely. Luna stood beside him, soaked and muddy, eyes locked on the bundle. She didn't blink. "Mom!" Mateo yelled again, louder this time. "It's a baby! Hurry!" Footsteps pounded down the alley. His mother gasped when she saw them. "What happened? Where did you... Oh my God, Mateo! Is that real?" "She found him," Mateo said, pointing to Luna. "The cat. She led me here." His mom grabbed her phone, dialing fast. "Yes, emergency. A baby. In the mud. Not breathing right. Please hurry." Luna meowed once, short, urgent, like she was telling them to move faster. The woman knelt beside Mateo, placing 2 fingers near the baby's neck. "He's alive," she whispered. "But it's faint. We need to keep him warm." She took off her scarf and wrapped it around the baby's head. Then she looked at Luna. "You really found him?" Luna didn't respond. She just stared at the baby, unblinking. The minutes crawled. No sirens yet. Just the sound of dripping water and the quiet whimpers of the baby. Mateo looked at the cat. "Why didn't you leave him?" he asked softly. "You're just a stray." "Why'd you stay?" Luna licked the mud off her paw, then placed it beside the baby again. His mom touched Mateo's shoulder. "This cat. She might have just saved a life." Just then, tires screeched. Red lights filled the alley. Paramedics jumped out. One of them grabbed the baby gently. "He's freezing," he said. "Possible hypothermia." "No sign of clothing?" Mateo shook his head. "Just mud, that's all." Luna took a few steps forward but stopped. She watched the medic wrap the baby in foil, then lift him into the ambulance. "Ma'am," one paramedic said, "we'll take it from here. Thank you for calling." The doors slammed shut. Sirens howled. And just like that, the baby was gone. Luna stood still in the alley. The crying was gone now. The sound that had pulled her from shelter, pushed her through storm and mud, was gone. Mateo walked over to her and crouched. "Hey, little one. You did something amazing." He reached out, but Luna backed away. She didn't want touch. She didn't want food. She turned, walked back into the shadows. The next day, something strange happened. Mateo couldn't stop thinking about the cat. He asked around the neighborhood, "You seen a little gray cat? Golden eyes?" No one had. But Luna was watching, from under a parked truck, from behind a trash can, from the roof of an old building. She waited. Each night she walked to the hospital. Not inside, just to the front doors. She would sit there, silent, staring at the glass. One nurse noticed. "That cat's back again," she said. "4th night in a row." Another replied, "Maybe she's looking for someone." Inside, baby Noah, as the nurses now called him, was hooked to machines. Doctors didn't know if he'd survive. He wasn't just cold. His breathing was off, his heart rate slow, but Luna came back. Every night, rain or not, Mateo started leaving bits of food outside the hospital door. He never saw her eat it, but it was always gone by morning. One night, he waited, hid behind a bench. Around midnight, Luna appeared. Quiet, like a shadow. She sniffed the food, then looked up at the hospital. "Hey," Mateo whispered. "You still watching him, huh?" Luna didn't move. He sat beside her on the pavement. "He's fighting. They say he might make it." She meowed softly. Then for the first time she sat down next to Mateo, just for a minute. No purring, no cuddling, just a silent moment between a boy and a stray who had already done more than most people would, because Luna wasn't done yet, not even close. Luna didn't follow the ambulance. She stayed in the alley long after the red lights vanished. The baby was gone. But her eyes kept looking down the road, like part of her heart had been taken with him. Mateo came back the next day with food, calling softly, "Luna, are you here?" But she wasn't. Not in the alley, not behind the bins, not under the porch. She was already outside the hospital. That night nurses found her again, curled up near the sliding glass doors. Not meowing, just staring inside. They tried to pick her up once. She hissed, didn't bite. "Just wanted space. She's waiting for someone," one nurse said. Inside, the baby, now named Noah, lay in a glass crib under warm lights, tubes in his nose, wires on his chest, his skin still pale. Doctors whispered he was lucky. One more hour in that mud, and he wouldn't have made it. They didn't say it out loud, but everyone knew. A cat had given him that hour. Word spread fast. News crews showed up. Reporters snapped pictures of Luna outside the hospital. A stray cat saved a baby. She led a boy to a miracle. People left food and toys, but Luna didn't care. She wasn't there for cameras or snacks. She only watched the doors. Every night. Same spot. Mateo visited too. He brought tuna one evening and sat on the steps. Luna didn't move. He said softly, "They say he might wake up soon. He's fighting." Luna, just like you did. She blinked but said nothing. Inside, Noah's heartbeat grew stronger. He moved his hand once, then again. Doctors called it a good sign. Nurses smiled. But something was wrong with Luna. She was losing weight. Her fur looked thinner. Her body slower. The vet said she wasn't sick, just stressed. Not eating much, staying outside too long. She's grieving, Mateo's mom said. She thinks the baby's still in danger. One day, Luna didn't come. Not morning, not night. The nurses noticed. Mateo noticed. Everyone noticed. "Where is she?" Mateo asked, checking every corner. Did something happen? 2 days passed. Then 3. On the 4th night, a hospital worker stepped out for a smoke break. He saw something under the bench. Luna. She was breathing. Barely. Her eyes were open, but her body was weak. Too weak. They rushed her inside. Not to the ER, but to the back office. A kind nurse gave her water, cleaned her paws, wrapped her in a towel. Mateo was called. He ran in, panic on his face. "Is she okay?" "What happened?" "She's tired," the nurse said. "Her little heart's worn out. She hasn't been taking care of herself." Mateo sat beside her. "Why'd you do this?" he whispered. "Why'd you give up everything?" For him. Luna lifted her head, just a little. Her golden eyes met his. At that same hour, Noah opened. His eyes for the first time. The doctor smiled. "He's awake." In a quiet room upstairs, a baby breathed on his own, and down in a break room, a cat finally closed her eyes and slept, not from pain, but peace, because deep inside, she knew her mission was almost done. But fate had one more twist waiting. Noah's file had questions. No family, no name, no history. Police got involved. They searched the area where he was found. And that's when they found something. A piece of torn fabric, a footprint, a trail. It led them to an old shed behind an empty house. Inside, blood, blankets, and signs of someone young. Maybe a girl, being there recently. This wasn't just an abandoned baby. This was something darker, something Luna had walked into without even knowing. And the truth? It was about to break everyone's heart. Noah was stable now, breathing without machines, eating with help. The hospital staff called him their little fighter. But underneath the smiles there were questions, bruises, scratches, a scar on his shoulder. These weren't from the mud. These were from something, or someone else. The police got more involved. They retraced everything. Mateo showed them the alley, the mud pit, the exact spot Luna had found the baby. They checked nearby houses, sheds, even dumpsters. That's when they found it. A worn blanket, stained with blood, hidden behind an old wooden shed. Next to it was a cheap school backpack, half buried in dirt. Inside were girls' clothes, a used pregnancy test, and a note. It wasn't signed, but it said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do. Please forgive me." Forensics matched the baby's blood to the blanket, the note to the paper in a school nearby. It didn't take long to find her. A girl named Marla. 16. She sat in the back of her school's library when police arrived. Pale, thin, hands shaking. "I didn't want him to die," she whispered. "I swear I didn't. I was scared. I didn't know what to do." Her parents had no idea she'd been pregnant. No one did. She had given birth alone, in that shed, in the middle of the storm. When the baby didn't cry right away, she panicked. Thought he was gone. She wrapped him in the blanket, ran out into the rain, and left him in the softest mud she could find. "I thought I was burying him," she sobbed. "But I just ran. I couldn't look back." But Luna did. While the world searched for answers, Luna was slipping away. Animal control had picked her up the night she collapsed. She was brought to a shelter. Safe. Warm. But she didn't move much. She sat in the corner of her cage, barely touched her food. Didn't respond when people called. The staff tried. They cleaned her, offered toys, but her eyes stayed empty. One volunteer said, "She looks like she's waiting for someone." They named her Angel, posted her photo. Online, Mateo saw it by accident. He gasped, "That's her. That's Luna." He and his mom rushed to the shelter. Luna didn't move when they arrived, but when Mateo stepped close and whispered, "Hey, little one," her ears twitched. "She remembers you," the staff said. But Mateo didn't want to take her home without showing her something first. So they asked the hospital for permission. Noah was being moved into a private recovery room. He was doing better, gaining weight. His little eyes looked around, curious now. Mateo held Luna gently in a towel. She didn't fight. She just lay still. They brought her into the hospital just for a moment, just long enough. When she saw Noah, everything changed. She pushed out of Mateo's arms, walked slowly to the side of the crib. No meow. No sound, just a soft press of her nose to the glass. Noah turned his head. Then, so small, so faint, it was almost a whisper. He smiled. Everyone in the room froze. The nurse whispered, "He's never smiled like that before." Mateo's mom wiped a tear. He remembers her. Luna curled up right beside the crib, her eyes finally calm. It was the first time in weeks she looked at peace, not because she was safe, but because he was. And for Luna, that was everything. But destiny had one last twist, because what Luna started, saving a baby in the mud, was about to change more than one life. It was about to bring a family together. One no one saw coming. Luna pressed her face to the glass, and Noah smiled. That tiny moment was all it took. The hospital staff looked at Mateo and his mom. One nurse whispered, "You should keep them together." Mateo's mom nodded. "We will." A few weeks later, papers were signed. Noah was adopted. Not by strangers, but by the very boy who found him. Mateo became his big brother, his protector. And Luna? She came home too. The cat who once lived on rooftops now had her own bed, her own bowl, and a name tag that read Luna, hero. She didn't care about any of that. What she cared about was Noah. Every nap, she curled up by his crib. Every bottle. Feeding, she sat close, tail gently tapping the floor. When Noah cried, Luna meowed. When he laughed, she stared with those golden eyes, soft and calm. Mateo said, "It's like she knows what he needs before we do." And it was true. One night, Luna woke the house with loud cries. Mateo's mom ran into the nursery. Noah was having trouble breathing. They rushed him to the ER. Doctors said, "If you had waited 10 more minutes." But they didn't, because Luna had warned them. Again. Time passed. Noah got stronger. He took his first steps with one hand on Mateo's, leg in the other on Luna's back. She didn't flinch. She just stood still. She knew this was important. People came from all over to meet the cat who saved a life. But Luna didn't care for cameras or claps. She only cared about the little boy she refused to leave. Meanwhile, Marla, the girl, who had given birth, wasn't punished. She was placed in a home for young mothers. She got help, counseling, education. She asked once, "Can I meet him? Just once?" The answer was yes. The meeting was quiet. Marla cried. Luna didn't hiss or hide. She just sat beside Noah like always. And when Marla said, "Thank you for keeping him safe," she looked at Luna, not the adults, because deep down she knew this cat had done more than anyone ever expected. She had saved a life, then stayed to protect it. One morning, Mateo was playing on the floor with Noah. Luna sat nearby, eyes half closed. Mateo looked at her and said, "You didn't just save him, you saved us too." His mom nodded from the kitchen. She gave us a reason to fight, to love harder. Some say animals don't understand love, but those who saw Luna, really saw her, knew better. She didn't act on instinct. She acted on something deeper, something wild and gentle, something no one could explain. Luna didn't just find a baby. She built a family.